Alright, hello everyone. It has been a long and busy week for me, and I have not been able to have much time to record because I've been watching a ton of AGDQ, and even then I have missed a lot, and I haven't been able to record anything of Dissidia because my PS4 controller has broken. It's been an up and down week. But hey, AGDQ made a lot of money for cancer research. That's good news. But enough about that. Let us talk about CG Citra. I've been putting this review not off on purpose. It's because I have been waiting for enough trust mastery to not master her, but master CG Sakura. I didn't want to waste my third CG Sakura's TMR. So I finally mastered her TMR and then was able to get a 50% trust Moogle, which I used to finish off my CG Citra. Not wasting anything. But in general, the amount of 7 stars that I have, it's been a little bit hard to keep up with in terms of stat pots and everything. But I'm doing my best to try and give you a good idea of what these units can be like. And here we are with one of the toughest units I've had to build for a while. CG Citra. Now, as I've said before, and I will continue to maintain, 9.9 times out of 10, with that other time being CG Jake, CG units are a very safe bet to place your tickets on and try for, because they end up being quite powerful. This unit is definitely no different. Say hello to CG Citra. Now, I've talked about her a lot in my banner review, so today we are here to simply talk about the important things and show her off. And as soon as I say that, of course we have our Limit Burst, which has all the trademarks of usual alum, and BlueStack's performance is somewhat up and down. I tried recording this video and it ran smoother than that, so I honestly have no idea what's going on there. But in general, I really like her sprite. Her Limit Burst is a little over-sexualized, so I'm not super crazy about that, but he's gonna be like, are you complaining? It's like, not really. It's a tricky situation with no right or wrong answer. Well, there's definitely a wrong answer, but I'm getting off track so far. Alright, so let's talk about CG Citra, and first of all, I'm going to show you what mine looks like. Now, I've only been able to increase her magic and spirit a little bit, not fully yet, and stat pots are getting harder to come by, so there's a long way for mine to go still. But the important thing to know about her is that she is a hybrid unit, meaning that you want to build her for magic and spirit, and you would like to keep it as even as possible. Which is a little bit difficult because her TMR is a 30% debuff to dark resistance. Damn it! Oven is done again already. These videos take so long. A limit burst fill rate of an extra 50% and a 60% increase to spirit. Now this TMR is amazing. It's amazing for healers, it's amazing for Lyra, it's amazing for a magic tank. The more you have of this TMR, the better. It is insane. But that's not all. You thought, now, of course, Ayaka's Super TMR is still fantastic for a staff, but this thing is really incredible too. At 12 extra attack, 110 magic, 150 spirit, and increasing summon damage by 30%. That's really, really important, especially for this girl. But that extra 30% summon damage is really nice too. And her Limit Burst at a max 7 star is a 1600% AoE one-hit summon attack with magic, spirit, and evo magic as part of the damage calculation. And it also gives an AoE 3-turn 60% debuff to all elements to the enemies. Really good for any type of chaining, a strong Limit Burst to be sure at 1600%. Now, We haven't had this talk, you and I, YouTube viewer of an unknown name. Although you might tell me your name in the YouTube comments, but that's really here nor there. Let's talk about hybrids. Now, normally, the hybrid stat is calculated better when you can keep magic and attack very close together. The closer they are, the stronger the attack is. But, in some cases, if you had a choice when the calculation is being done from attack and magic, it's better to focus on a higher magic stat because enemies usually have a lower spirit stat. Because magic element is, or the magic attacks, usually aren't as powerful as physical and therefore are not as worried about. It's why Lyra was so strong when she came out. Her attacks only used a spirit component, meaning that enemies that were normally had lower spirits than defense would take much more damage. Now, while I haven't seen any exact details or the calculation formula of CG Citra because it hasn't been posted anywhere and I'm too scared to ask. Because I have a feeling it's going to be the same calculation that we saw. But her attacks all evolve around a magic spirit combo and Evo magic. Now, I'm curious to how the percent Evo magic works, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to test it yet. Well, I have some idea, but not here right now, possibly in another video. Now, CG Citra has some magic spells, but they're not super important. Ultima and Holy are just really long-lasting spells, which are good for finish X, Y, or Z with magic damage. But the things in her kit that I really like are as follows. Reduce Sorcery, 36 MP, AoE 2-turn, magic damage reduction, and build a summon gauge S for 2 to 4 Esper crystals. Very nice. Guardian of Light gives 100% light resistance to all allies, minusing for dark resistance, but enemies are usually one element. A lot of the time. Of course, you can summon any party Esper, and that's really, really nice. But her attacks are what I'm really interested in talking about. Evoke Supremacy Light for 3 Esper Crystals is a 900% AoE one-hit summon attack. And where's the other one? There it is. Evoke Ruination Light is 5 Esper Crystals and a 2000% one-hit summon attack. Now, those percentages are very, very close to Yuna, but Yuna has a little bit higher in percentage, but her damage calculation doesn't take into account percent Evo damage, which is interesting because I'm not entirely sure if the percent Evo magic just strengthens the attack, which could make it rather interesting competition between Yuna and CG Citra. But of course the big difference here is War Evoke, which is something that Yuna does not have and probably won't get. War Evoke allows her, CG Citra, to use 2 abilities, or 2 of these Evoke abilities, in a turn. And that's quite big, because that is one thing that Yuna most definitely does not have. And a big difference between the 2 attacks, or using the 2 attacks, is being able to use 2 abilities in a turn. But that's not all CG Citra has that is kind of incredible. Mind Holy Flat is a 54 MP, 350% AoE 14 light hit magic attack with Holy Explosion or Divine Ruination frames, meaning that she can chain actually very successfully with some of the top chainers in the game. That's interesting. That's actually very interesting, but that's not all that ability does. It actually uses Spirit as the magic calculation, so if you have a higher percent Spirit, she can do a lot of damage, and it's considered magic chaining with Divine Ruination, which in theory should be considerably stronger than 2 physical Divine Ruination or Holy Explosion changes. It also gives some engage though, and it heals for about 3400 HP AoE. So not only does it give you Esper Crystals, not only does it chain with Holy Explosion, and not only does it use Spirit, it actually fills the summon gauge too. It's a pretty comprehensive ability and probably one of the strongest ones in her kit, not including the damage abilities. So at a 6-star she's really good because she has all of this stuff, but as a 7-star this is where it gets a little bit crazier. So for having her own TMR, she increases summon damage 50%, that's quite a jump. She also gives herself an extra 30% to magic and spirit, and 10% extra from the equipped Esper stats. All good stuff. She gains Evoke Intense Mana for 6 Esper Crystals, she AoEs 130 MP recovery. She also has Evoke Severing Light, 99 MP 5 Esper Crystal, 6 turn cooldown, or 5 turn cooldown, available turn 6, 2500% AoE 1-hit summon attack. And this can actually be used with War Evoke. This is a very powerful ability. And last but not least, the greatest thing, well, it's all great really, but Staff Rod Studies. Basically, she can wield 2 staffs, 2 rods, or 1 of each, and she gets an extra 20% magic and 20% spirit from dual wielding, which why would you not want her to dual wield? In general, this is an incredibly strong kit in general. She has a lot of stuff in her kit, so we want to demo her off. And first of all, we're just going to be going through her basic abilities and showing the kind of damage they can do chained in together with Rumera. Now, something to note is, which is interesting, is her damage abilities. And I will retract this if I'm wrong, but the way I understand it is her summon abilities are considered summon damage, meaning that they ignore defense and spirit, but cannot be combined with killer abilities or elemental damage. At least that's the way I understand it. Now, I'm not 100% sure, and there is a way that we are going to test it, because there is a lot of things to test with her. But the first thing we need to do is we need to build up some Esper gauge. So we will use her protection ability just to show it off. And we will chain in here to get some extra Esper crystals off the training dummy. Now, this Limit Burst ability also does boost her stats, so we will keep that in our mind as we are going forward. So, the thing I want to test first of all is, does Elemental affect her abilities? So, how are we going to test this? Well, quite simply, if we look at what our girl has equipped to her, she does have a light weapon equipped. So, when I use her 3-turn Esper AoE hit, so about 2 million points of damage, this turn, after I use Divine Ruination, it should be considerably more because now we have the debuff. So as you can see, elemental weapons do not make any kind of a difference to the damage output that she can do. Now for the next turn, we are going to use a combination to show off her chaining ability. A very nice, easy chain, and for someone like that is a magic damage dealer, that's really nice to be able to chain with a very powerful Divine Ruinationer. Now, something else to note is that my CG Citra does have a limit burst level of 3, meaning that there is a long way to go for this limit burst power. Limit burst pots are hard to come by right now, don't judge me. In general, not bad. Not great, but not bad. Because there is another element too that I have already talked about with this damage. And that is that it is unmitigated damage. It does not take into account the enemy's defense or spirit stats. So, in enemies that have physical or magical mitigation, her abilities will not trigger any kind of, well, just anything from it. So to start, we will do a massive chaining damage to see how much we can get done. Using Orlando first, so he will give the debuff to the enemy. Or not, or I will misclick. Thanks a lot. Not bad. Not bad considering we didn't use a 150% buff. So we will use her big magic attack, chained in, and see how much damage. Now, Runeras will do approximately, we'll say about 17 million to be on the safe side. That's how much 2 maxed out level 120 Runeras with this kind of buff should do. Well, maybe about 20 million to be on the really conservative estimates. But we will also take a look at our CG Citra stats. There you go. Like regular summon damage, it can be chained in to do a considerable more amount of damage. So that still works. But here's a bigger question. What can we do? What more can we do with this girl? She's essentially a better version of Yuna, as far as I'm concerned. Now, mine's not particularly shining very strong because I just can't properly stat her as well as I've seen, but we've already seen some crazy videos posted of what she can do, and it's pretty incredible. So, what do I think of CG Citra? Well, I think that she is amazing for being an unmitigated damage dealer. Her attacks basically count as summon damage, which means that they can get by a lot of tough enemies' defenses and mitigation. And that's pretty cool, but not only that, she can power up the Esper gauge while chaining with Orlando or any of the Holy Explosion family, and she can give some support and healing and damage mitigation. She has dual wield. She's a very powerful unit that is somewhat easy to build for brand new teams, but also really hard to perfect. Ideally, you would want a lot of really powerful equipment for her, like Yuna Super TMR, as well as her own Super TMR, multiple Water Verituses, her own TMR, and a Rod Mastery, to really take her to a very high level. So in general, I think that she is a very powerful unit, but not surprising that since she is part of the CG unit family. The real question is just how far people will be able to take her. So I will have a bit of a demonstration, but that will be in the next video because I have to go check on brownies. It's a difficult life some days. Till then, I will see you all in the next video.